Welcome back, fight fans, to another episode of Super B MMA. I am your host, the Super B, and today we're going to cover UFC 207. And I'm only going to cover the two top fights: the fake main event, which is Nunes versus Rousey, and the real main event, which is Dominick Cruz and Cody Garbrandt. So let's start off with Dominick Cruz fight. This fight is going to be a really good fight. It could either last 3 rounds or it could end in the first. Depends on who gets your style. And I know it's a 5-round fight, so don't think I'm like, oh, you messed up, you said 3. So, nah. So how's this fight going to go? Well, let's cover Cody's side of it. Cody, in order to win this fight, he has to try to predict where Dominick Cruz is going to be, which is not going to be easy to do. As we know, Dominick has the most unique style in the UFC. You know you're good when everybody else in the UFC is trying to mimic your style, which is what we're seeing now. We saw it with TJ, we see with other fighters, they're jockeying, they're copying, they're stealing, whatever you want to call it, but he's inspired other fighters to adopt his style. With that being said, what chance does Cody have? The only chance he has is to catch Dominick Cruz and predict where he's going to be. And the only way to do this is, what his plan is he's willing to eat a few punches in order to do so. So he's going to stand his ground and let Dominick come in, try to unload and try to predict where he's going to be for the next move. Hopefully, if he gets it, throws a right cross, left cross, whatever it is, the guy has a great style. He comes in with combos. Always comes in 1, 2, 3 punches. Problem is, Dominick Cruz knows this. Dominick Cruz is a smarter fighter. It's not that he's physically more talented, it's that he's just mentally stronger and more gifted as far as breaking down a fight, stunning his opponents, knowing what the opponent's going to be doing next. So how do I see this fight going? Well, let's discuss Dominick's style first, though. As I said, Dominick is very unorthodox. He comes at you from all angles. He'll punch you, come down low, hook you. When you're reacting to that, he'll catch you with the low kick, trip you. You don't know where he's going to come from what angle, what he's going to do. So here's Dominick's plan. Since Dominick Cruz knows that Cody is going to be willing to eat a punch in order to try to get him back, I think Dominick's going to do the same thing to him. Meaning that since they're going to try to predict where Dominick's going to be, Dominick's going to predict where he's going to be. He's going to fake him out, throw some things in there, make him get into a rhythm thinking that he's figured out Dominick. And right when he thinks that Dominick's going to switch things up on him, come in with his crazy combos, and I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Dominick Cruz is going to win this via knockout. Not just a knockout, it's going to be probably a chin or a kick or a knee to the face. Either that stops it or that's what sets up the stop from there. So I got Dominick Cruz taking this fight. Since Cody's going to come in really hard and try to end it within the first 2 rounds, Dominick's going to look to survive that and take it into the deeper waters. I'm hoping to see a stoppage round number 3, but I wouldn't doubt if it goes all the way to 5, ends in 5, or goes to decision. But my official pick is going to be Dominick Cruz via face kick knockout. And now to the next fight. We got Ronda Rousey challenging the champion. Don't forget, she's the champion, Amanda La Leona Nunes. Interesting fight. The big hype about Ronda. She's back. Oh, okay, well, where you been? She looks great. Very good physical shape. Actually, never seen her look better. She had a lot of time away. I'm pretty sure she went to different camps to practice a stand-up. Because if she stayed with Edmond and did more stand-up there, she's got no chance. The thing is, the UFC is smart enough to know that. You have to remember, this is the UFC's cash cow. Everything that's happened is no accident. They've been protecting her, just like they did from the very beginning. But this is what worries me. You see, this is the only second time where Ronda faces a real opponent. The first one being when she got kicked in the head and lost to the farmer's daughter. This time with Leona. And when I say the first real opponent, I'm not putting down the other opponents. What I meant is the first time she fights real 135-pound fighters. Because For a long time, the UFC never brought in a 125-pound women's weight division. They went down to 115. Do you ask yourself, why was this? Why would we not want to have a 125-pound division when you have so many women that could have fought there? The answer is simple. If you have a 125-pound weight division, all these women that were fighting Ronda Rousey at 135 were forced to gain weight, who were actually 125-pound fighters, who had to gain weight to fight at 135, would have never been facing Rousey. Rousey never would have shined the way she shined. Why did the UFC keep a 145 weight division out of the UFC? It's not because of Cyborg alone. It's because if you open up the 145-pound weight division, all these monsters that could take out Ronda Rousey join the UFC too. And they say, why don't I just cut weight from 145 to 135 and take out Ronda? Or even worse, what if 145-pound fighters start calling out Ronda? The UFC knows, they're smart, especially Joey Silva. Joey Silva knew exactly how to handpick Ronda Rousey's opponents. No, not putting them down though, but the game has evolved a lot since they started this, the women's league. You had these women who were too small to fight at 135. They weren't full-time fighters either. They were women who were, they just decided, one day I'm going to be a fighter. They were soccer moms. Soccer moms who decided to be fighters. Now you got women who have been dedicated to this most of their life, if not their entire life, like Leona, like the farmer's daughter. So what's going to happen to Ronda now? Well, Ronda, you've been exposed. Not just your skills. You have great skill sets. I'm not doubting that. You were a world champion, third place in the Olympics at judo. You were a UFC champion, rightfully so, even though you did it with much smaller, handpicked opponents. Opponents that were picked as soon as they showed a little bit of potential, they were fed to you before they got any good. And now you're facing La Leona. The problem here with Ronda is that Ronda's been broken mentally. Ronda doesn't have what it takes up here. Do you think that Ronda Rousey herself said, hey UFC, you know what? I've decided that I am not going to make any media appearances because I need to focus on the fight? No. What happened when Conor McGregor did that? Conor McGregor tried the same thing. He said, I can't make the press conferences because A, B, and C. UFC wasn't having that. They said, no, you have to be there. So it wasn't Ronda who made the decision. The decision was made for Ronda. They said, hey, we know Ronda's weak. We know Ronda could be broken mentally. We need Ronda to remain focused. We need Ronda to believe that she's as great as we made her believe she was. Because they know, I know, some of you realistic people out there know that Ronda is nowhere near as great as they made Ronda out to be. She's good. She's not great. She's not the world's, best fighter, the most dominant bee in the world. Nowhere near. None of that. So now we have the fight. What's Ronda gonna do? What does Ronda need to do in order to win this fight? Ronda needs to get up and press the action. She needs to get body to body with Nunes. But the problem is, I'm trying to be nice and trying to give her an advantage here, though I'm going to try my best. She needs to go in there body with body, try to get the takedown. And the only way to get the takedown is using her judo throws. The thing with that is that Nunes is a Brazilian black belt in jiu-jitsu. All she has to do is drop her hips, lower her center of gravity. She knows that. If they go on the ground and they grapple, Nunes could defend. She could defend a basic armbar. That just shows you the level of the UFC back then, that a woman couldn't defend a basic armbar. You don't see that happen in the men's division, do you? Ask yourself why. Because they weren't that good. And that's the only tools Ronda has. She doesn't have great hands. She thinks she does. They convinced her she does. As soon as she gets popped in the nose, you're going to see how that changes. She's going to turtle up. I wouldn't doubt if she drops on the ground and just bundles up in the turtle shell and begs for the referee to stop the fight. Amanda is going to come in there, try different angles, take the legs out, front kicks, jabs, keep a distance. Once she sees that Ronda is wearing out, because they're trying to focus on Ronda having better cardio by the way she looks. Once Ronda starts wearing down, once she sees her start breaking mentally, not wanting to in there, she's going to go in there and destroy her. Amanda wins this fight any way she wants to. She wants to do it on her feet and knock her out with the right cross, she'll do that. She wants to kick her on the head, she'll do that. She wants to chop her down her legs, get her on the ground, she's going to do that. I personally want to see a submission win. choke out, but I would love an armbar. If Ronda taps on an armbar, great. That's the end of Ronda. So my prediction for tonight for UFC 207 is we're going to see 3 retirements from the UFC. Mike Goldberg, Joey Silva, and Ronda Rousey. After she gets up, stops pouting and crying and making excuses about how my heart just isn't in it anymore. No, Ronda, you've just been exposed, and we know you're not that good. So Ronda Rousey loses tonight, hopefully by submission or knockout. That'll be wonderful too. Is gone, moves to Orlando, joins the WWE, and begins her WWE career, which she's going to be great at, by the way. So there you have it, fight fans. Let me know what you think. Show me your comments. Bring the love. Please bring the hate. And let me know what you think. Over and out. Until next time.